Choffcast, yup, it's the Choffcast, Oh yes, baby, we are back on the Choffcast, and today's a very exciting episode. We have one of the greatest radio people to ever exist, the legendary Chris Cruz.
Thank you, dude.
In the building at Shoebox. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is cool in here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super excited to have you. Have you ever done a show in a studio this small?
Yes.
Maybe like a prod room, right?
Yeah, Club 937 in Flint. The on-air studio is small. It still is. It is tiny. Great station, awesome cluster, awesome people. But that studio is like the size of my fist.
Yeah.
It is tiny.
Wow. Are they? Is that station still going in
Oh,
Flint?
yeah, dude. It's a great station. I remember we used to bring like Friday Night Football. So we would bring high school cheerleaders in and some of the football team members, and you got 20, 30 kids plus the host and two co-hosts in this tiny ass studio like the size of this, just cramped trying to do a radio show.
That's the craziest energy though when you're on the air like that. It's like, because everyone's so gassed up about it, mm-hmm. That on the way to the studio, everyone's listening in the car.
Oh, yeah.
They get there. And
yep. And the next day, the social media clips, they're all tagging themselves and sharing their friends. I was on the radio for 2 seconds. Look what I said. It was the coolest thing ever.
I know. I miss, to me, that magic of radio has somewhat subsided just because I'm not, in a radio station anymore. But I genuinely, miss that feeling of being able to, talk to people in real time, you're speaking into the mic and they're hearing it seconds later.
Yeah, it's people always describe it and this is super similar. It's just this is recorded ahead of time, so it's slightly different.
Right.
But people always describe it as you're just hanging out with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of it's very similar, Choff, to going to see a movie.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Do you remember seeing Avengers Endgame the first time?
No, I barely ever watch movies, but
I hate motion pictures. So in Avengers, spoiler alert, when Captain America catches Thor's hammer and the theater just erupts and loses their shit, that's so much cooler than watching it on a couch by yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So it's radio's kind of the same thing. It's just you're hanging out and experiencing the same things with different people at the same time.
I always love it too, because with radio, for this, for some reason my mistakes don't feel if I stumble over my words or if I make a mistake or I misquote something, it's it feels very chill. Whereas when people are listening right away, it's so serious.
In live, yeah. I tell everybody look at Jimmy Fallon, dude. Jimmy Fallon made an entire career of flubbing and breaking. He's not talented. He's extremely talented. But for someone like me, dude, you know me. I talk really fast. I have ADHD. I'm high energy, so things are gonna slip out and flub. I just keep going.
Yeah.
Because nobody cares.
I like that.
They really don't.
Has that been an issue with your program directors in the past? Because I remember every air check that I ever had, pretty much, my PDs would always be like, dude, slow down, relax.
Yep, still to this day. This is my 23rd year in radio. Every air check with every programmer and every person I work for, every single time. Dude, you got to slow down. I know, I will. And
eventually.
Yeah, and I write slow down with a Sharpie marker and I put it in front of my face, on a piece of paper and under my screens and stuff, and I'm recording. It's just the hard part for me, Chop, is I can sit here and I can speak very articulately. I know how to do this. But you're not getting me because I'm thinking about it. I have to sit. It's like I'm doing a voice. I have to sit there and slow down and do this radio voice. And that's just not me. I'm excited about the music. I'm excited about you and getting to see you again and about the artists and whatever. So for me to slow down and sit there and really take my time is disingenuous almost.
That's a really interesting take. And I love that because it's always so hard in those moments to tell your coach no, right? It's if you're in football and your football coach says hey, you need to do this, and you're but this is how I do it, right?
Yeah. But they're right. I talk way too fast for what I do for a living, and I know that, and I'll listen back and go, what did I even say? And it bothers me because in my head, I have all these great, grandiose, creative ideas I want to share with people. But when you puke them out 300 miles an hour, they don't hit as hard.
Yeah.
So sometimes I really do have to be you guys, look, there's this thing that's really important to me. I'm really passionate about. But 99% of the time, I'm just flying, dude, 500 miles an hour because, I don't know, slowing down's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
For me, it's very much a lot of work.
I can relate to you on that 100%. So obviously with this fast pace, you've had a pretty extensive career in radio and DJing and all of that. For people who don't know, what are some of your highlights in your career, that some of the things you look back on and you're just most proud of?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. As I've gotten older, I wanted to get into radio the same reason everybody else did. Money, chicks, fame, the whole deal. That's why I got into it. I was 20 years old. I'm like, I was a nerdy kid in high school, but people think I'm funny sometimes. What if I get on the radio? Maybe they'll like me or whatever, What I am proud of, Chop, is that like in the last 5 or so years, and my whole career, I've always very much cared about people, wanted to help people and stuff. But when I started, it was more so like I wanted it to be the Chris Cruz show. I wanted to be famous. I wanted my face on everything. I want everyone to know who I am. I want all the women to love me. I want all the men to want to be me, blah, 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 right? And as you get older, like we were speaking off the microphone, I went through a divorce recently and some other hard stuff. And through all that suffering, because there's been a lot, I'm really glad that I found that I had this ability to help people. Making people laugh and maybe making people, entertained is great. That's cool. But when you can touch them and help them and have an effect on their lives or relate to the problems that they're having, that's what I'm most proud of now. You know what I mean? When someone says, oh, I watched your DJ mix and I was having the worst day, but it made me smile and I picked up my kids from school. We listened to it in the car. That's my shit. Like, that's what I live for now, Yeah. And now, like, I still very much want it to be the Chris Cruz show. And I want my face on everything so I can help more people faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I do get what you're saying there. I mean, that's the magic of the mediums that, you work in too. I think you have a lot of ways to reach people, a lot of ways to touch people. Whereas if you're kind of confined to one thing or, you're too deep in this lane, it's like, it can be like that gap starts to grow. I think is what I'm getting at here. Yeah.
I learned like at a younger age in radio, being platform agnostic can be a good thing. So like, dude, I love radio. I went to Specs Howard here in Detroit. Like I grew up on radio. It's still what I do for a living, That being said, if one day radio were to go away, okay, I can still find those people somewhere else. Radio is just the vessel I'm currently using most often to find them and touch their lives and help them and soothe them and, find them and they can find me as well, right? But for me, all the platforms, I don't want to say they're the same because they're all so different, but if I'm making someone's day better by being on, Choffcast, dope. If it's on stage, I'm going to be at Lansing Pride on stage in a couple of weeks. If it's at that and someone feels inspired by something I said or a song I played, just as dope. Or if someone heard me on the radio saying something, I don't know, about believing in yourself, and they heard that and they reflected good on that positively, that's just as good for me. Like they're all kind of the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad I have all these different venues, radio, the internet, all social medias, live events, whatever.
Yeah, not to keep gassing up radio, but I do think...
Please do. Please.
But I do think like radio is one of the last kind of mediums that like is local, Like so much of the media we consume now is viral videos, is national, is influencer driven. Whereas like one thing that I've always loved about the platform of radio is it's like, if I throw out an idea and I say, hey, call me, I'm getting calls from people that are like in our community here.
Right. And
that's so cool. I mean, obviously you're nationally syndicated, so it's probably, you could probably speak on how that's a little different, but
I mean, I still do, a lot of both local radio and national, some live, some recorded. Local is awesome. Like you said, you can touch people's lives so much quicker. They're right there. They can come see you at the event. They can come find you at the Taylor Swift show, and you can give them a hug as they're crying because they've never been to a concert before. And you hand them a pair of concert tickets, and you get a selfie and hand them those tickets. Like, that changes my life, let alone theirs. Like, that's a good feeling, It's just as fun to do it on a national level, getting to call somebody and tell them, hey, you're going to Usher's Lovers and Friends thing, halfway across the country with 3 of your best girlfriends. That's also cool. I think there have positives and negatives, both either way. But there's just something magical about local, just being able to, like I said, it's the word I use a lot is touch. It's to touch someone's life, to either physically touch them, give them a hug, give them a pat on the shoulder, tell them everything's okay, or hey, thanks for coming out. Here's a handshake. Here's a bumper sticker. It sounds old school and lame, but there's just something, dude, about touching people's lives and being tangible to them as well.
Yeah, no, I very much resonate with that. And it's so funny because you're nationwide with your show, and there's been multiple times where I've like touched down in like a new city.
Yeah.
And it's like I pop on the radio and there's a throwback 2K Chris Cruz promo.
Hell yeah.
On. And I'm just like,
thank you.
This is my dog right here. I know. Yeah. And it's like, it like makes me so much more comfortable just being out in that spot.
That's really sweet of you to say that. No, I appreciate that. It's cool, dude. I was in Vegas for something, And I didn't forget, but I was just working, doing stuff. You know what I mean? And we actually heard it in the lift. And just for a split second, I forgot that, like, and dude, shows all over the place. And I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful. You know, we're on Las Vegas and Baltimore, all over the country.
You in
right?
San Diego? I was in San Diego. I think I heard you.
Not yet.
Maybe
Fingers crossed.
Somewhere out. Maybe it was Vegas.
What's up, San Diego? How's your boy? But yeah, we were in the car and it came on. I go, oh my God, like this is real. You know, when you record the podcast, you might forget sometimes. But like a month later, 6 months later, somebody said, hey, CHOFF, 6 months ago you had that guest on and they said that one thing that really resonated with me and that really touched me.
Yeah.
And you almost forget that it's real sometimes because it's work.
Yeah.
Still love doing my shows, but it is still work at the end of the day. So sometimes you forget. So those moments where it comes back to you and goes, oh yeah, this is real life. You're really doing this and really out there and really touching people's lives. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about it too is like the test of time with the content generation. It's like I love putting something out, not necessarily because it's gonna get like attention today, but because in 10 years I'll be able to look back and like reflect on that conversation that I had, and like that to me is so special.
Yeah, there's something cool. I was doing it the other day. Someone asked me about a video from like 10 years ago that I made. And go, how do you even remember that? It was like a stupid parody music video. So I'm scrolling back to my YouTube, and there's something just very cathartic about going through those old videos and going, oh yeah, that's what I was into at the time. Or, that's how I cut my hair. Or, wow, I lost a lot of weight since then. Or, oh, I was dating that person. Or, oh, I remember meeting that celebrity the first time and the second time was even better. It's just cool to have that, like you and I have like visual diaries for our entire adult lives. So I would encourage anybody who's trying to do what you're doing or what I'm doing, or anybody who wants to get into content, just turn the damn camera on, start filming stuff. Even if it sucks, just start filming and recording stuff.
Yeah, you've definitely, as far as radio people that come to my mind, you've had the best like transition to digital platforms. You've really found a way, I feel like, to like showcase your DJ mixes and like really bring yourself to the forefront there. I'd love to just like know a little bit about more as far as how you got that spark.
Yeah, that's a high praise. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It started for me out of frustration, dude. I was like a young, dumb punk radio kid, you know, wanted my face on everything. I wanted to be the morning show host. I wanted to host all the clubs and blah, blah, blah. That wasn't happening. So I just got really pissed off. And I'm like, fine, you're not going to notice me? I'll make you notice me. I'll start making videos. That's how it started. Just literally out of anger and frustration of not getting what I thought I deserved at the time. I clearly was not ready. And I started making videos when a lot of people in radio weren't. And I even heard people, like some of my peers say to me, and even programmers, people above me in suits say, well, why are you working on videos? You're a radio DJ. And I'm like, dude, I am going to smoke so many of you so quickly, and you have no idea. And that wasn't even the plan. My plan was not to like surpass anyone, just to get noticed. But then people started like picking on it, going, why are you making these videos? Why are you making a music video? I'm like, you'll see, baby. You will see. And it was a little out of spite, a little bit, because I was pissed. I wasn't getting where I wanted to be at the time, so I tried to find a different avenue, a different venue, and it kind of worked out for the most part, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, you just seem to be on this like creative like bender with your DJ stuff. It makes me want to go harder.
Thank you. Well, and dude, that's partly why, I'm glad you said that. That's partly why I do it, because I'll see other creators and DJs, or stand-up comedy and sketch comedy gets me like more inspired than anything else. Old clips of like Whose Line Is It Anyway, or like watching old school, or just any stand-up, anything is funny. Really gets me inspired. You know what I mean? Gets me like excited to make things. But I always have and I said I have ADHD. I have so many ideas all the time, but I have to get something out. So if I put a mix out and it's not like a 10 video, I know my brain is better off getting that idea out than leaving it in there. You know?
Yeah. Just get it out. Don't overthink it. That's a big piece.
And the hardest part for me, and I pray, or I puke this all the time, I should say, is you got to just turn on the camera and be brave. And there are many times, dude, I don't want to be brave and turn on the camera. Even at home, at 43 years old, I'm a grown-ass man who's been in front of cameras for 20-something years. And every time I'm like, I don't know. Do I look okay? Is this side of my face good? Is the lighting right on my skin? Is my DJ mix going to sound stupid? So there's always that, like every single time.
It's like leaving the house. It's like, I don't want to leave the house. I'd rather just stay home in my pajamas. But every time you leave the house and you get out there, you feel good about it, right?
And I know, like you said, you know, you get inspired, or, you know, watching my content gets you excited. That's half of why I do it now, CHOFF, because I know there are people watching me and looking up to me now, just like I am with somebody else watching some other DJ's content who I look up to, Joe Bunn, you know, Shorty, whoever, all these other great DJs out there. I very humbly know that some people are counting on me on my content. They get inspired by it. So I take that very seriously. Like that's very important to me. The likes are cool. The exposure is cool. People saying, oh, dude, I saw you. That's cool. But when someone says, hey, I started my channel because you did. Or I wasn't going to shoot a video, but then you said that thing on the camera about being brave one day and I did it. Like, that's what really motivates me to turn the camera on when it is I don't want to.
It's magical. Every time before I sit down with a guest, I will open up ChatGPT and I will say, do an extensive web research of this person.
Oh, no.
And come up with some talking points for that are curated to them.
I hope mine isn't terrible.
There's a bunch here that's good, but I one thing really stands out that I wanted to say to you, or at least mention.
Sure.
It's bullet point 6 that it gave me. It says ADHD and personality. Being an ADHD champion and human sunshine fuels his style. I'm curious what that means to you and how that's allowed you to kind of hone your place in the world. Because I also am very ADHD, undiagnosed my whole life, but I mean, when you look at the symptoms, I'm aligned.
Dude, I didn't get diagnosed till my mid-30s. It was a radio bit. We were doing a morning show, and I go, well, my co-host was saying, you talk so fast all the time. I go, yeah, I know. You know what'd be funny? You know what we should do? I should go see if I have ADHD. Dude, I was off the charts. Whatever the things are, like 1 through 10, I was like 37, 49, all over the place. But and maybe you can relate to this, I have been made fun of my entire life, even to this day, for how fast I talk and how high energy I am and how I can't slow down and I stutter and I stammer and I'm bouncing off the walls. A lot of people love that about me, and that's great. But some people, my whole life, and as a little kid, it's hard. People say, why do you talk so fast? I don't know. I didn't know I had ADHD. I didn't know I was hyper, all that stuff. So I love to tell kids now, I get to speak to high school kids on the occasion. I'm very blessed to do that, or middle school kids that want to figure out what they want to do in life. And I tell them, I spent my entire elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and 20s being made fun of for how I talk. And now I get paid to talk for a living.
Look at you now.
So I'm like, that's it. That's really it.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm the same way, or on a similar wavelength, that I feel like I got made fun of my whole life for like people thinking that I was kind of like, outside of the box, or like in their words.
Oh, yeah, you're a space cadet for sure.
Yeah.
In the best way.
In their words, you're like a degenerate or whatever. And it's like, I feel like I've been able to spin that whole thing into like a great lifestyle that's like super healthy and balanced.
Well, and you're like the most positive dude ever. Everybody loves you. Like,
wow,
yeah, you absolutely can spin it.
Nah, that's not true.
As far as I understand, everyone loves you, dude. Everyone adores you. You're awesome.
Well, it's nice to hear you say, but we've all got haters.
It's the people. It's hurt people, but it's also scared people.
Yeah.
If someone in a suit has anything to say to me, I just don't hear it. You're not living your best life. No one wanted to get into finance.
Oh, sorry. This is a great point.
And I don't mean it like anyone's better than anybody else, but like no one when they were 5 dreamt of getting into finance or working on Wall Street or being in all these other things,
Dreamt of wearing a suit, period.
I every single day, for better or worse, I get paid and I get to live my life doing the thing I was born to do. If anybody knows me, there's nothing else on this earth I should be doing other than this. Nothing. I wouldn't be good at them. I'm really good at this one thing, so I focus on that. So folks that are like scared or afraid to try or insecure, I don't really hear that. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. It's okay that they got into what they got into, and I'm glad they're happy. And dude, make more money than me. I'm sure you're making more money than me. Yeah. But like every day, I get to change people's lives. I know I'm not a doctor. We're not doing medical life-saving surgeries here. I understand that I'm not, a professional. But we get to make people happy every single day, and I think that's really important.
You ever make people mad on your radio show? I remember when I was doing live shows all the time. I had I had a couple like very interesting cases of haters. One of them, I was getting like repeated death threats from this lady. And
oh, well,
I
haven't gotten that.
The hilarious spin on that story is, so she's sending me these death threats in my email, basically just saying I suck at my job. I shouldn't be there. She would like.
If she wanted to kill you, must have been really bad on the air.
I don't know what it was. I think it had something. I know she came to like some of our events and she didn't like the music I was playing. I don't know what was wrong with this lady. Whew. Maybe she was attracted to me. Long story short, I run into this lady at a bagel shop in town, right? And
As one does.
she runs up to me. She goes, "Are you Choff?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "It's Amy." And like instantly I knew who she was, and she was like, "Hi," and then just ran away. And that was all I ever heard of her. So I'm curious if you ever had any haters to like that. I feel like haters are so like they can be keyboard warriors, but when they see you in person, it's like a whole different ball game.
Yeah, so I've thankfully never had death threats yet. I'm sure there's still time. I did make an old lady really, really pissed off one time. It was around Thanksgiving. I'm a really picky eater. I'm an extremely picky eater. Like I'm a bad house guest. I'm a bad boyfriend. I'm a bad husband because I'm a picky eater.
Grow up.
And I'm seriously. And bro. I was talking on the air about Thanksgiving food, and I go on the air. I'm like, yeah, turkey, stuffing, that's it. Sweet potatoes suck. They're the worst. They smell bad. They taste bad. Whatever I said. I was just being funny. 25-year-old. Hey, sweet potatoes suck. If you don't like them, call in. Whatever I said.
Yeah.
This elderly woman calls in. I mean, sounded like she was pushing 80 years old. She seemed lovely, and she said, "I would like you to go on the air and take back what you said about sweet potatoes. My grandson has an autoimmune disease, and the only thing that blah, 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 the only cure to his deadly disease is sweet potatoes." And I'm like, what disease does this child have?
I'd be like, "Ma'am, you're on the air right now. You can explain for yourself."
Yeah, and like, so on the real, if I ever offended anybody, like I feel terrible. Like I'm a people pleaser. I'm an empathetic person. I'm not confrontational. But I'm like, this has to be bullshit. Like, what is this lady talking about? Like, he does not have some autoimmune disease where he's gonna die if he can't have a sweet potato every single day. I hope. If he did, R.I.P. I feel bad. But I'm sure
I love that take though. Those are like my favorite types of calls because I'm just like, let's get into it. Like,
yeah, dude. When I was younger, I was like a firecracker. I would go at anybody. But now, like, I'm old. I'm sensitive. You know, I've become this like empathy is just like rules everything in my life now. You know, when I went through my divorce and we had some, like, not to get too heavy, but had some folks in our family pass away and some money stuff and some health stuff, all within like 2 or 3 years. So ever since then, I'm like, I suffered a lot. I don't want to see anybody suffer ever again for any reason whatsoever. If I can help and save everybody, I will. I'll find a way. So that being said, like, offending somebody on the air, I very much try to avoid that. But if you're just getting pissed off for something stupid, like, okay, let's go. That's totally fine with me. If you're just looking to get offended by something, or you're just listening to the radio going, oh, they said a thing I didn't like, I better let everyone know that I don't like that thing. You know, I don't like a lot of things. I just don't talk about them.
yeah.
Who cares?
I always loved that though in radio when people would share their opinions. That was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, you know, we're doing a show at the end of the day. Like it's authentic, but it's still a show. Like you're wording things in a way that is gonna catch people's ear. You're putting details first that are like the most important or whatever, and it's like supposed to kind of be triggering in a way.
I mean, it's just like stand-up comedy. If you go to a comedian's show to see stand-up comedy and they say something you don't like and you start booing and heckling, why did you go? Like,
Yeah.
why did you go to the show?
Yeah. I love when people walk out of a stand-up comedy show too. It's like
Yeah.
you're wasting your own money, nothing else.
I don't know. That's just not my energy, man. You know, I don't get a lot of pleasure out of about finding what people don't care about. I don't care what you don't care about. I don't care what you don't like. What do you like? What do you love? What gets you excited? What are you passionate about? What are you looking forward to? What are you curious about? Those are exciting. I don't give a shit what you don't like. Who cares?
Yeah,
It's boring.
it is boring.
You know?
Talk about the positives.
Yeah, dude.
Got any sick DJ gigs coming up? How's that side of your work going?
Not too bad. So I still do a bunch of events every year. Do like the Woodward Dream Cruise every year. The Ford Fireworks. Do a couple private events and corporate events and stuff.
Sick.
Kind of backed off a little bit because was focusing more on radio stuff and just life stuff. And now this year, dude, hot girl summer. I don't know what life's going to bring me. I am ready for the DJ universe to bless me with whatever it will. So
I love that.
yeah, dude.
I feel like sometimes you have to go through those like crazy moments to really come out your best self too.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been through a lot last couple of years, but I'm very thankful. And I don't mean this to be disingenuous. I'm being sincere. I'm very thankful for all the suffering that I went through because I learned a lot. Came out a much better person. I found my right vibration with the universe, which is what the phrase is. You know, folks can just figure out why you're here. What are you supposed to be doing? Who are you supposed to be? What are you comfortable with? Like all these things. I have it all, not all of it figured out, but I'm real damn close now.
Yeah.
You know, took a lot of age and a lot of time and a lot of trials and tribulations and going through a couple heavy things, but I think I have it not all figured out. Like I know where I'm going. I know who I am. I'm very confident with who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I want to do.
Yeah, and some people never figure that out, like ever, which is kind of crazy. So it's kudos to you for putting in that work to figure everything out.
Let me ask you something. Are you like me? Do you use Logic a lot of times? Like not Logic, the computer program, but like Logic in general in life to help you figure things out?
Yes, absolutely. My girlfriend hates me for it because she'll have this grandiose plan of like what we're gonna do, and I'm like, why would we do it like that when we could just do it like this and save these extra steps and do it, you know? I Logic, I try to make like the filter for everything in my head. If I don't have a logical reason for doing it and it's not something that excites me, I don't think I do it.
That's exactly where I'm at. And I don't know, like I've tried to find out if that's an ADHD thing. I'm not really sure. But for me, it's just like, this is the logical thing. Like, you know, I went through all these hard times. Okay. Did I learn a lot? Yes. Am I sad? Yep. How long do I want to be sad for? Okay. And I just kind of plan it out and just do it. And I know not everyone has that ability. But I don't like being sad. So I use Logic to say, okay, I am sad right now because of these things. I don't want to be sad. What things make me happy? I'm going to dive balls deep into those things until I find happiness. And I have been.
I think that's deeper than logic though, too. I think that's a level of emotional intelligence. It took me...
Thank you.
It's something I feel like at this stage of my life, getting a lot better at it. Like I noticed the other day, I just, you know, you ever have days where you're just like, you're kind of demon thoughts. You're just like assuming the worst thing's going to happen, assuming everything's going to be way more difficult than it is. You're like almost...
The inner saboteur comes out and talks to you.
Yeah. That's like a very real thing. People experience that all the time. But I am just now getting to a stage in my life. Like the other day, I stopped myself because I had like a good 10, 15 minutes of this like spiral. And I'm like, I start laughing. I'm just like, what's up with this? Like, this isn't me. This is just like some invisible force. It's like, I had to like, whether you call it logic or emotional intelligence, whatever, I had to like physically almost like put this block in my brain of like, I'm not thinking this way. Everything is good. I'm killing it. Like, let's keep going.
Yeah. And I think it's different things for different people. It's an inner saboteur. It's ADHD. It's anxiety. It's depression for some folks. But yeah, that thing is hard to fight off, man. Some days. I don't have all the answers. I just try to talk to myself saying, what is the result I want? I want, like, let's say the result is I want to make one video today. Okay. I want to make a DJ video. Okay. Well, I don't feel like I look good on camera. Okay. I'm going to go take a shower. Do my hair the way I like it, whatever. Okay. Well, no, I don't want to do it because I don't know what 2 songs I'm going to mix. I'm going to sit behind those motherfuckers and find the 2 songs because that's what I want to do, right? And I'll just stand there and go, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's going to get done. And I'm going to stand here until, like you're grounding a little kid. You're going to stand in the corner and you're going to figure out that math problem, Billy. And until you figure out that math problem, so I put myself in the corner all the time, as opposed to being like, oh, I just don't feel like it. Too bad.
Yeah.
Like
get it done.
There's people depending on us. There's people watching. There's people looking. I got people to help and people to save. So like, too bad if I'm not in the mood. Too bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going up, you're going down. So it's like, you gotta keep going up.
Yep. And at the end of the day, like I said earlier, even on the days I don't want to turn on the camera, if I know that someone on the other end is going to get something positive out of it, I'll turn it on every time. That's what's gotten me through like the last 5 years. My marriage and my divorce and all these other hard things I've gone through and a bunch of changes was knowing that the things I do affect people positively. Like that is cool to me. That makes me feel really good.
It does. In fact, I'm going to share something with you that I didn't even really realize until we sat down just now and it all clicked for me. But without you, the studio wouldn't exist. You know why?
No.
So run it all the way back to COVID times.
Yes.
You had me cover for you at a training fitness gym in Sterling Heights. So I did that gig for you. Which you did awesome, by the way. Thank you for covering for me. My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
I try to do my best anytime.
Mr. Reliable over here.
That's what we're here for. So I did that gig, and I realized there was a bunch of those facilities near me. So once I had the experience of doing the one that you were working at, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to send like a cold email to all these gyms and just say, hey, I've have experience with your brand before.
Okay, I saw you do that. I'm like, how is this weasel getting all of these gyms? And I don't have any because you outworked me.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. All I did was one day in COVID when I had no gigs, I sat down. I was like, who could I get more gigs from? And like
awesome.
This gym was on my list.
Yeah.
I got every one of their like contact emails. It was literally like contact@whatever.com. I send them emails, and one person circles back, and it was so funny because this lady was like, she thought she had like a gotcha moment. I think she thought I was lying about the experience because she was like, well, if you did that, I would know who was in charge. So who is in charge? And so I name dropped the gentleman in charge.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. So she realized I wasn't lying. She brought me in for a trial day. I killed it. I ended up becoming their resident for a while.
Hell yeah.
Long story short, that's how I met Logan, who is he is the partner that owns this building here, or runs this building here. And he became my trainer for like 4 years after that. And that's how this studio came to be, is when they got a gym. They asked me to, be a part of it and take over and have a studio in here. So in terms of like your influence, I think it's like really important to just point out, like,
thank you.
Like sometimes it's not tangible to you or like direct, but like I am not lying when I say this studio literally would not exist if you would not have given me that gig that one day. I would have never thought to reach out to those people. It would have never connected me with Logan, who became my trainer. Who would have never been here. So you're doing a fucking great thing is what I'm getting at here.
I appreciate it.
And I just want to say that because I was thinking about that while here. I'm like, damn, you're like the kingpin here.
Thank you, man.
I
thank you for sharing that. I did not know that.
I didn't know it until we sat down and I started thinking about it. I was like, holy shit, it all came back to me.
Well, and dude, that just proved both of our points. Like, you never know who you're helping. I'm more than happy to have been a resource for you, and I always will be. But now, who can you help next? Like, who can you pass the torch to?
Yeah. And I hope part of why I'm putting in the work here is just because I really want to elevate the music community, and I want to connect people, and I want to have an opportunity for people to tell stories, not just the music community, but I mean all walks of life really within this space that I'm in, and that's the goal. Just keep boosting people up.
Yeah. And like the thing I'm doing and the things you're doing isn't anything anybody can't do. You and I are not more talented than anybody else. We're not.
We just choose to show up.
Yeah, I think it's just bravery, a little bit of bravery, and just doing the thing. So for anybody watching who, like, I know a lot of people are watching you because you've kind of exploded the last couple of years, but want to do what you're doing or do what I'm doing, just turn on the camera, just turn on the microphone,
and be consistent.
Yep,
somewhat consistent at least.
I always tell everybody, dude, just start. Just start. It's gonna be bad. Start shitty. It's not gonna sound good. You're gonna think you sound bad and look bad. You don't. You're beautiful. You sound amazing. But it's gonna only get better from there.
Yeah. I had Stick on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I just had lunch with him.
Did you?
Yeah,
Stick's the
I love
best.
him.
I love Stick, man. But he had a great line that closed up his podcast, and it was, if your first take at something isn't terrible, you waited too long. And I was like, whoa, that shook me.
Yeah, there's I'm gonna pronounce this poorly. Tommy Wiseau, I think his name is. He was the director of that movie. Oh God, I'm gonna completely ruin this. He was a director of the movie. I think it's The Room. That you're tearing me apart, Lisa. And it was like lampooned this amazingly terrible movie. He was on a panel, or no, I'm sorry, this was on social media, and someone asked him, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting the screenplay. What should I do?" His reply: start.
Simple.
That's it. If you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to be a DJ, if you want to be on the radio, if you want to be a podcast host, if you want to be a fitness instructor, if you want to be a barista, if you want to do anything, just start doing it today and just start.
Start, and I think a very important thing to harp on as like the next extension of that is like keep going, because I think it's very easy to say, okay, I've got a DJ controller. Maybe you play a couple gigs and it's very common for people to feel like they deserve more, right? And
I was there, yeah.
I mean, I've just recently like gotten myself out of that place. Like I've felt like for a long time it was like I should be here. I'm here and it's great, but I should be here. I've been putting in work. I've been doing this, but the world doesn't owe you shit. And at the end of the day, you can create your own opportunities if you want them. You can, if you want to play a banger at a club, like guess what? Become a promoter. Like if you want to go on tour and your goal is to play in 50 states, guess what? Make a map of all 50 states, start writing down people and start getting on planes and going to those places and meeting those people. And like, that's how you do it. You don't do it by hoping, you do it by putting in the hard work.
Yeah. Nothing is impossible. I watch Jeopardy every single day because I'm
I love
486 years old and I love watching my stories.
I love that.
I watched this since I was a kid, so it's just like a family tradition. I love Jeopardy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ken Jennings, you know who Ken Jennings is?
Is this a new host?
Yeah,
or?
Ken Jennings hosts Jeopardy. Do you know how Ken Jennings got famous?
No.
He was a contestant on Jeopardy.
Oh.
A contestant on Jeopardy now hosts Jeopardy. And people want to tell me they can't do things. That kid was on the show and he now hosts the show.
Yeah.
Like nobody can't, there's nothing anyone can't do. You can do anything. He was a contestant on the show and he hosts the show. Anyone can do anything. The end.
The end.
That's it, dude.
How's Marky the Corgi?
So fat. He's so old. Dude, I don't know what his deal is because he's like, I don't know, 12 or 13 now. He's very much like a crotchety old man, like get off my lawn. But this is funny, as soon as Jeopardy comes on, which is 7:30 here in Detroit, he hears the theme song and it's treat time. 7:30 is Jeopardy treat time, so he knows he hears the theme song. He starts losing his shit. And he runs to the closet and he will bounce like 1.5 feet, like a bunny rabbit, jumping at the closet, like, open the closet, Dad, open the closet. And I'm like, I thought you were old and sleeping for 14 hours. How are you jumping like that? And he's the worst actor of all time. He'll like lay there all day like he can't move around. And as soon as there's food around, he just like loses it and becomes like the Incredible Hulk.
Oh my God. It's like that whole selective emotions.
It's the worst, most obnoxious roommate of all time.
I'm sure he would love to hear you say that too.
No, dude, he's my buddy. I love him, man. He's great. We do walks every single day. He pees on every tree in the neighborhood. So, old reliable there.
Yeah,
on things.
You got to hold it down, right?
I'm not going to pee on the trees, so someone has to.
Exactly. You ever get him on your show? Is that possible?
No, he only talks when he wants something. He won't talk, like if you go, oh, roo, 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 he won't answer you. He only barks if he needs to go, if there are any dogs listening, I'm sorry. If he wants a treat, if he wants to go potty, or his favorite word is mailbox. Because he loves to go to the mailbox and smell what dogs peed on my mailbox. That's his favorite word in the whole English language is mailbox.
God, dogs are so weird, bro. I have a dog too, but they're so weird.
Yeah, he's not a normal dog. I mean, living with me, you're not going to have a normal dog anyways, but he's not a normal dog for sure.
No, I love that. In terms of the Throwback 2K thing, how's all that going?
Great. Thank you for asking. So Throwback 2K is now on as of this weekend, it'll be 78 markets, I believe.
78?
Yeah.
Oh my, 78 towns that you are on the air.
78 cities.
Whoa. You have a huge audience there.
Yeah, it still doesn't feel real when I say it. And I'm very well aware of like how popular the show is and where that puts me and Throwback Brands in the zeitgeist of radio. Like I understand, but it doesn't feel real. My whole goal, my whole career was to get a morning show in my hometown, which I did, and then to get syndicated in one market. I told myself, if I can get syndicated in one other market, I will be the best. I will be the best DJ of all time, and no one can tell me nothing. That was 77 markets ago.
Wow.
And so none of it feels real. I'm so blessed and so thankful. I love doing the show every week and talking to people about it every day. And our affiliates are awesome. Our partners are awesome. The teams that we work with are awesome. Our coworkers are awesome. Tony Lavrino, who owns it, who I work for, is an absolute angel to work for.
Tony's cool, man.
Dude. Oh, you know Tony?
Yeah, him and I have had some chats over the years.
And Tony, to his credit, has to manage me. And I'm a good employee. I work really hard. I'm super loyal, and I do everything. But I'm like this all the time. I'm a head case. I have 10,000 ideas. He's got to bring me down to earth every single day, and he just found this magic lasso that can just bring me down, find the best idea, and then we use it, and then it works. So it's a wonderful relationship he and I have. I'm very lucky to work with him and work for him.
Yeah, that's super dope. And I assume you're doing all these shows from home too, right? Which is nice.
Mm-hmm. I barely ever leave my house, man.
Good for you.
I barely ever leave my house. I love it. I walk the dog every day. I clean the house every single day. If I got time, I'll do a mall walk. What's up, 12 Oaks in Somerset? It's gotten so bad that there are employees at Somerset Mall who recognize me now. Through my divorce, I'm like, okay, I need to get out of the house. I'm gonna go for a walk. So I go to the mall, put some music on, whatever, and just disassociate and like meditate and be a little zen. You were into that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So I'll just walk and do my thing, and I'm like, is that girl smiling at me because she's being friendly or because I've been here 7 times in the last 14 days? And I still don't know. So I have to avoid the malls for a little bit, but sometimes I'm getting my walks in at home.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up. Feel real awkward now.
No, you're good. I personally love that. I love when I go somewhere enough to where I recognize the people and we can talk. That's like, It's like one of those. It's like you find your tribe in the world. You know, it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
I might not know anything about this person, but every time I see them, they're smiling and they're happy to see me.
There's a really good pho place in Southfield. They have like the best noodle soup, and I walk in there and I go, chicken pho. I go, yep, that's it. They don't know my name. I don't know their names. I'm chicken pho guy. I sit down, chicken pho. You damn right, chicken pho. Yep.
I love that.
Those are my people, man.
Those are the best types of people
Hell
too.
yeah.
I want to take a minute to kind of look under the hood of just like the business side of things. Like, you know, what are some struggles with managing? I mean, you're in all these markets as a radio host. I can't imagine it's easy to make all these people happy. Like, walk me through a little bit of just some of the struggles and challenges that come with being a syndicated radio personality in 2025.
That's a really good and deep question, honestly. I would say there's a bunch of things. And for anybody who wants to get into like national syndication, it's not super different from local radio. It's just drop rating on like a bigger level, you know? The hardest part is just the red tape from radio stations. Let's say we have like CHOFF FM, okay? Actually, a really good idea. You should start CHOFF FM. I was just going to say.
I did a show called CHOFF FM on a live streaming app a while ago.
Okay, so you register that as a trademark before I take it from you. But let's say you have like CHOFF FM, right? And you're in, let's say you're in Grand Rapids, okay? For sake of example. And you want to run Throwback 2K, okay? And you're the program director of the radio station. But you guys already have an agreement with 3 other weekend shows that go on through the end of 2025. And your operations manager actually prefers the other show that you guys are running because his friend is friends with the guy that hosts it. And then the general manager does that because that show is less barter than my show or whatever. It's that. It's the red. These are all hypotheticals. But it's just that red tape. We've never had anyone say they don't like the show, which is very flattering. I'm very humbled to hear that. That makes me feel really good.
That's awesome.
We only ever hear, I can't fit it in or not right now. So that's a good problem to have. You know, and do we have people that have had critiques of the show? Sure. But mostly like musical stuff. You know, some stations want us to play more hip hop, and it's Throwback 2K is an all 2000s show. So it's everything from 50 Cent to Panic at the Disco to My Chemical Romance, Britney Spears, Nelly, and everything in between. You know, so some folks in some markets that are a little bit more conservative might want less hip hop. Like they may not want Get Low by Lil Jon or Usher, yeah. And we say that's what we play. That's what the show is. So then we have talks with them and kind of explain to them why we do what we do and, you know, why it works that way. And other markets want more hip hop or less guitar-based stuff or more guitar-based stuff. So we're always going back and we do a ton of research on music and trends and what people are liking, what gives them that like nostalgic dopamine hit, you know, like we know.
Yeah. Are you scheduling all the music too, or what's that like?
Nope. I don't touch it.
That's nice.
Which is actually honestly a good thing. A lot of people are surprised by that. They're like, oh, so you're the DJ, but you don't pick the songs? Well, no, like the reporters don't pick the stories.
Yeah.
And also for me, and I mean this in the most positive way possible, I could play anything and be just as excited. If it's 2000s Britney Spears, if it's new Kendrick Lamar, if it's Patsy Cline, if it's Roy Orbison, if it's the Beastie Boys, if it's Metallica, if it's Slipknot, I like all of that. If it's, Sam Hunt, I can talk about Sam Hunt and Post Malone all day. So for me, I get just as excited about any of them. So it's not irrelevant what I'm talking into it's not irrelevant what music we play because it is very well researched and very scientific and everything. But at the end of the day, I love talking to people, you know, and if they want me to say that they're having, like, you know, hope you have an awesome day, here's Kenny Chesney. Hope you have an awesome day, here's, you know, Slipknot. At the end of the day, to me, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and plus just, you know, I feel very similar, and I did when I was in radio too, just being an overall fan of music, I think, as a whole. I'm not, you know, people like us that just like, we just love music. We love the vibe. We you know, I'm very seldom do I hear a song and I think that song sucks. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just like.
Well, as a musician too, you have, and me as a musician as well, like we listen differently than like a civilian would to music.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Yeah, you have the bandwidth to understand this is a good song, even though some people might not, you know, might not be there.
And I'm very proud to say, you mentioned emotional intelligence earlier. I'm very proud to say that I change my mind on shit constantly.
Same.
First 3 times I heard Chappell Roan, I go, nope. I was a stupid idiot. I was a moron. And then she put out The Giver. I heard The Giver in 5 seconds. I go, this is going to be a freaking smash. And I was so wrong about her. But like, I took it back. I go, oh, I didn't like it for whatever reason. And then I heard the song again. I go, okay. Heard it 5 more times. Okay, I'm an idiot. And I started to love it.
It's been funny watching that progression too, like specifically with the Chaperone vibe, because I feel like I've gotten a lot better in recent years with like kind of checking my ego at the door, and I'm like before I would maybe refuse to play Chaperone, right? I'm not playing it. Why would I play it? I'm not gonna do it. Whereas like, you know, I played Pink Pony Club every night that I played for like months, and it went off. Some nights it was like the peak of my night. That would have never happened if I had that ruling me.
That's the ultimate DJ advice I can give to anybody who plays live music. If you're in a band, if you're a singer, if you're a DJ, if you're anyone who performs music, play the hits. Play the hits. Play songs people know the words to, because if you don't, they won't dance to it.
You're there to entertain, not educate. In most cases. There are the rare rare cases. Not even rare, but there are cases where you have to be the educator.
Yeah, if you're at a club where it's like a EDM night.
You're at the works. You're
or Tronic back in the day, or Tonic or whatever back in the day, something like that. But for me, like, dude, I play concerts and I play events and festivals and family events and stuff like that. So I try to just play songs that people like. Doesn't matter if I like them or not. Yeah. Like, there are a lot of songs I play that I could not stand. I would never admit it on camera, and you'll never know, because I will convince you that I love all of those songs. Every song. We are family? Hell yeah! Get on the dance floor. Guess what, guys? It's September. Let's go. Put your hands together. In my head, I'm going, this stupid song. And it's still a good song, but in my head, I'm like, oh, this song's so annoying.
Heard it 80 million times.
Dude. But, like, my reward is seeing their smiles.
Oh, yeah.
That's my reward. And I know, like, September is a huge bullet in my chamber. And Bruno Mars is a huge bullet in my chamber. And I'm not going to not fire him because I think I'm too cool.
Yeah.
I got a job to do, man. I'm a people pleaser. My job is to please people. I have those people out there. I'm getting paid to please them. Please the people. Play what they want to hear. You know?
Mic drop.
That's it. Don't drop the mics. They're very expensive. Please do not drop the microphone. They're like $400.
Yeah, that's a very good point to point out there. What's the future of audio?
I think the future of audio is going to depend on if people care where it comes from. I was very wrong about video a long time ago. I'm like, why are people shooting videos vertical and up and down? That looks so stupid. Everything's in widescreen. Movies are in widescreen. I was wrong on that. With audio now, what I'm wondering, and I don't have the answer. I don't think far into the future. I just try to make people happy today. You know, I'm not a super prolific thinker when it comes to trends and stuff like that. But I'm curious, Choff, to see if people are going to accept AI audio more as just like into the zeitgeist of pop culture. Are they just going to, like, if a meme song comes out again, they're just going to be cool that it's AI. If another Drake song comes out, people are going to like play that on TikTok and actually play it in clubs and stuff and at concerts and at bars because it's cool. Or are people going to step back and go, we don't like this because this is disingenuous. And I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm actually really interested to see.
And I've got a really kind of controversial opinion on that, the whole AI audio thing. We could talk about it for a second. You remember AI Ashley, right? The radio personality.
I'm good friends with her, with the real life Ashley, yeah.
Awesome, because I just remember everyone was tearing this girl apart. And for people who don't know, this was basically like when AI, like voice AI services were first a thing. Mm-hmm. This girl, basically, she was a radio host. She created an AI version of her voice and played it on the air. Mm-hmm. And she got killed for it, crucified. Still to this day, people talk about AI Ashley in the radio groups and stuff. And I'm sitting back as a young progressive individual, and I'm like, she did exactly what she was supposed to do. Like, I personally think if there's something new, you should be open to it. You should play around with it. See how it can work for you. I thought AI Ashley was genius. I think if I was in radio at the time, I would have done the exact same thing. And taking it to a step further, you know, I support like the use of AI in music production and all those things if it helps you get your idea across better. I think it's so narrow-minded to not use every tool in your tool belt. Should we, when drills came out, should we have said, fuck drills, I'm going to use a hand screwdriver forever? No, that's not how this world works.
It's ego. You know,
it is ego, but
it's ego. People are scared they're gonna lose their jobs at the tool. You know, I think Ash is incredible. I've been friends with her for a long time. She's really good. I thought AI actually sounded pretty good. Did it sound revolutionary and groundbreaking? I don't know. I think it was really cool that they did it. And a couple points. One, you just said everyone's talking about AI Ashley. Sure as shit are.
That's true.
They are still
because she was the
her.
first to do it, as far as we know.
And you know me, dude. I'm a very positive person. I do not like to harp. I don't like to be negative. However, I have many peers in radio, many, who have poo-pooed AI Ashley and poo-pooed AI is so bad. AI is going to take our jobs. We don't want AI radio DJs. Get the hell out of here. We're talent, and you can't recreate the charisma of a real person. And I said, okay, I hear you. So 5 years ago, you guys were paying a graphic artist, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are you doing now for all your websites and your blogs and articles? Oh, okay. So you're using a free AI generator. Okay. So you're no longer paying a graphic artist. Okay, got it. That's fine. So for your guys' articles in your website that you write, about like the events and stuff and local stuff, what do you guys? Oh, ChatGPT. Okay, no, that's fine. So you had writers, but they're now all out of jobs, and you use ChatGPT for your blogs. That's fine. Okay, cool. Okay. So on
Something starts. Yeah, it
so
starts
on
to stack up,
and so forth. And I'll give you 5 more examples. And I asked, so AI is okay as long as it's not your job. If it's the graphic artist or the writer or the music producer or the video editor, God forbid we pay someone to edit videos in 2025, not make the DJs do it. Everyone in radio is so anti-AI, except for all the tools they get to use to do their jobs. But the one that they don't like is the one that's going to take theirs. And I try to take a step back and go, well, hang on. It's not all for me and none for thee. Like, we kind of have to look at it from a broader point of view and look at it and not just be like, no, this is bad. AI is bad, but I'll use all the free tools to do my job. You can't have both.
Yeah, and I think it's a perspective thing too. I think if you view something like that as the enemy, maybe instead of like criticizing people that are the early adopters, maybe like analyze yourself and figure out how can I bring more value outside of just my voice. And that's been my biggest like gripe with the radio world is it's like a lot of people think that just because they're good at stringing words together that like they deserve to be on this like pedestal. And reality is like anyone can do what you do. You're just really good at it. Like,
right.
And I don't mean that in a negative light. It's like, it's more so just like, I see it as like, you could blossom into like this next version of yourself that isn't replaceable with AI if you don't lead with this angst of like this AI is ruining my life.
And I won't ask this because this could be a very hurtful question, but I want to ask those people like, aren't you confident? Like, why are you so scared? I say to AI DJs and AI voiceover, bring it. Take my show. Play this back in 5 years. If I lost my show to AI, I called it. Fine, I'll do something else. I don't care. Take it. I'm not scared.
And if that's all you have to be taken, like, you kind of deserve to lose it. That might sound a little harsh, but it's like our job as humans is to get better and better and better and find ways that we can better serve the world, I feel. And if you're just okay with being right here and sink your toes in as deep as you can and like let that be your thing, good for you. I can't tell you how to live your life, but like, does that mean that you're kind of like digging your grave? I guess. I don't know. Well, it's a perspective thing.
And I've been in this long enough to have been told to fear CDs, and I was told to fear iPods, and I was told to fear Bluetooth. Now I'm being told to fear AI. Your boy's still cashing checks, So, and if AI takes every radio job away and I hope it doesn't, and I don't think that's going to happen. I truly don't, dude. But if it does, then next. That's okay.
I love that. Speaking of next, what's next for Chris Cruz?
Dude, it's a good question. And it's my first time being single in a decade. I came out on the other side of it feeling pretty positive and good. It's going to be a very good hot girl summer. I'm excited to like get out there and like catch up with old friends. I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah.
See my family members, get out and going to some concerts and stuff. Just like dude, this year for me is just very much just going out, living life, giving myself a lot of grace, a lot of patience, and just like chill and relax. I don't need to get everything done today. I don't.
I love that. You gotta just live and enjoy the moment.
Look, man, I've been through some shit, dude. So, like, I got to take a time out. Like, your boy needs a nap. Like, I need a life nap for, like, 6 months. And that for me this summer is just, like, chilling, hanging out, having fun, enjoying life, living life, not being stressed.
I love it.
Words
to live by right there.
That's it, baby.
Chris, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today. Again, thanks for all you've done, not only for me, but for all the people out there. Again, you're a huge reason of why this studio exists in the first place. And it's been cool to, you know, as a young guy in radio to be able to watch you, and now to be past that, just to, you know, continue watching your journey. It's inspiring. You inspire a lot of people. So
Dude, likewise. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that.
I'm stoked to have you on the show.
Thank you. And I look forward to having my name as the Chris Cruz Shoebox Studios here soon in neon on the podcast. It's going to be very beautiful.
Hey, we got some openings. You want to do your podcast at Shoebox? Let me know.
Sell a sponsorship, baby.
I love it. We'll talk soon, brother.
Thanks, dude.
CHOFF. Yup, it's the CHOFF. CHOFF.